Sometimes some things just don't make sense. Sometimes the preponderance of the evidence points you in one specific direction, but when you follow that evidence and you follow its prescribed direction, you arrive at a destination that's completely unexpected. Well, that's definitely the case for me with this Lego Technic Chevy Corvette ZR1. I was actually quite down on this thing at first when I saw the initial reveal of photographs of it, and I continued to be down on it as I saw better pictures, and even after I bought the thing, had the box right in front of me and was looking at the best pictures that Lego could put forth of it. I just didn't feel like it looked good. And I started building it. And you know what? I wasn't enjoying myself. I wasn't enjoying the process of putting this thing together, and I already was prejudiced against the finished product, so that was not a good start at all. But as I went on, maybe halfway through, maybe 2/3 of the way through, I gained a respect for the design, especially from a technical perspective. Considering that this is 99% made of Lego Technic pieces, looking at the pictures of the real ZR1 on the box itself, looking back at this for an hour and 45 minutes or so, I realized that this is actually a very, very good effort and a very strong design by the Lego designer. And it's pretty well captured given the scale, given the parts count. Now, Technic builds kind of need to be more than just pretty static models made with funky pieces. They should have some mechanisms in them. They should have some things that will do things, some gears and such. You always look for that in the Technic line, and this does not disappoint. Or does it? You see these 4 half bushings with brown axles going through them? Well, there are 4 of them on the other side as well. And they appear to represent pistons of the V8 engine. And as you turn the rear wheels, as you spin them, well, the pistons go up and down. Which is interesting, but doesn't quite make sense to me. I mean, the previous generation ZR1 was famous for having that Lexan cover over the motor that would show you some of the intercooler, but it didn't have clear cylinders, and most of this car here looks pretty well covered, pretty well finished. Again, for a Technic build of this size and complexity. So it just doesn't quite match to me. I think that if there was a cover over either side, that would be cool, because then it would just be representing the regular full-sized Technic engines with specialized pieces. But of course this is made with just regular parts, and it just has a little camshaft inside there that's doing all the work, and these are just basically free floating here. That would have been cool, but having it exposed like this really ruins a lot for me. Of course it is Lego, and especially the way that it's built, you can easily just leave those out without making too much in the way of modifications to the entire build, and it'll look much better. Now, there is steering. You access that from the back of the car, and that just uses the play between Technic pieces, so it's not a fully geared system. It's just locked and limited by the spaces between parts. There's just a solid rack bar that goes back and forth, and it gives a decent range of motion. Unfortunately, the actual steering wheel inside the cabin is not hooked up to that system, so you're not able to put your finger in there and turn that and cause the wheels to move. And also, it's not easy to get your fingers in there at all, or to see in there, because these doors are not able to be opened. They are angled or canted forward a little bit to get the nice angled shoulder of the Vette, and they're just static. They're not able to come out or come off easily. If you want any other Technic functions here, well, that's just too bad. There are no other functions. The GT wing is completely static. You can't pop up the hood on this, can't open the doors. It does have a differential. It's completely open, but you know, it is there so that if you steer this thing around on the ground, it won't experience too much scrub. And, the main drive is just going through the very center of the entire vehicle. So, it just is ultimately pushing these little things up and down. Oh yeah, you can adjust the mirrors up and down like this. You can also rotate their angle, but you can't turn them in and out. So that's just the limit of it. I think the choice of main gimmick, not using gimmick in a bad way here, but just being honest about it, wasn't that great. I like the idea, but the implementation here leaves a little bit to be desired. If it had just been hidden away with a removable second set of pieces as covers, that would have been great. That would have been absolutely ideal. There's quite a bit of gap in the rear fenders. I do like these smaller fender pieces that are basically scaled down versions of the ones they initially introduced with the 911 GT3, the big orange one. So I like the size and shape of these. They work really well. I like so many of the building techniques, how they got a lot of these angles in the front, and a lot of it is pretty straightforward, much more straightforward than I would have expected. I mean, I am definitely not up on Technic building techniques, but I like how this went together ultimately. Like I said, I didn't enjoy putting it together at first and for quite a while, but eventually I came to very much appreciate and respect the technical know-how and a lot of the solutions that came together to create this thing. The only system pieces or non-Technic pieces are just used here on the back for the tail lights and these small outlets on the sides. Everything else is absolutely pure. This does use some stickers. I think the stickers are well chosen and used to good effect. I have no problem with those whatsoever. But in the end, after all that, I've actually gone right back to the place where I started. Not really liking this that much. There's so much here that is right. There's so much here that is really, really good. But there's just enough that bugs me that it kind of turns me off to the entire thing. And I can't fully explain myself. I've got some specific things that I don't like, and I've covered those. But just overall, being someone who has appreciated the Corvette for quite a long time, who sees Corvettes all the time, and who is very giddy anytime they come out with a performance model, I'm just not feeling this scaled down version. Just overall, it doesn't cut it for me, and I feel like that's a completely unfair thing to say, given just how much skill the designer has brought to bear here. But there's just a lot of little things that bug me with this and with these and the little bits of blue, and there's something back here that's not quite right to me, even though so many of the angles are good. Yeah, I'm very torn, but ultimately, I'm not a big fan of this model. Now, if you do like this thing, I am definitely not going to argue against you or try to convince you not to buy it, because I know that most of the stuff I dislike is subjective. And as far as value is concerned, the price to part ratio for this, especially considering how many large pieces it comes with, is excellent. There are a lot of pins and a lot of small pieces, but there are also a lot of large pieces, and ultimately the size of the completed model is very good. This is all you're left with for spares at the end of the day, just a few pins, a couple of bushings, and one of these spacer bits in gray. But yeah, value is very, very good here. Building experience, I feel, is worthy. Even though I wasn't liking it at first, it grew on me, and I think that if you like Technic, you will appreciate this. If you're fairly new to Technic and you just like the look of this externally and you want to try this, maybe you haven't done Technic at all, it's pretty good. It's not too frustrating. It does require a little bit of manual dexterity, but it's not bad. It's definitely a worthy build. Now, they do have this alternate build. That looks really good. It's a good looking angle, although it just needs a B pillar, I think, is the main thing that it needs here. Maybe a little bit more orange back here as well. But yeah, there is a B model, a second model, but they don't include instructions for that in the set. You have to go online to download those, and I'm not going to do that because I'm already worn out from this thing and just have too many emotions that are too conflicted about it. And I already don't particularly like the look of this personally in the front. I think the back part of it looks really cool, but all this here I know is just going to bug me. But you can definitely check out the instructions for that. It's completely free even if you don't buy the model. If you want to see how the main Corvette build goes together, you have two options from me. You can either watch the speed build, which is shortened and has some hopefully relaxing music behind it. Or if you want a more pure and complete experience, then check out my pure build, which has no music and is at real time and just has the sounds of clicking parts together. I hope you'll enjoy one of those. I'll link to both right on screen at the end of this video, and I'll talk to you again very soon.